Welcome to the windmill garden. Today we're going to harvest, cure, and store our onion crop.
Ready for harvest. I see some dried up leaves, but the main tail is that soft, flopped over stem. I love growing onions. What a great garden crop, and so versatile. My wife and I put onions and garlic in almost all our dishes, and they store well. You can store onions in a cool spot like a garage or basement for months, maybe 4 or 5. A lot of growers dry their onions right out in the garden, out in the sunshine. That's not my style. I'm going to dry my onions in a shed.
A nice crop of onions this year. Let's get into the shed and start the curing process.
I prefer drying in a shed because it's climate controlled and no mice and vermin to chew on the onions. My dad was nice enough to dry these onions over. Now let's dry them out. Curing your onions is just a fancy way of saying it. All we're doing is drying them out. Once the leaves, roots, and skins completely dry up, the onions will store a lot longer. I usually get 4 or 5 months dry storage. If you want longer, freeze them.
That's a nice onion.
Just like fishing tails, this onion will grow the more I tell the story about it. I like to lay all the onions out, single file, right on the shed floor. Don't stack them or you might get rot. If you had some kind of a rack, that would probably even work better. I'm in a dry climate. This floor method might not work if you live in a humid area. And that's it. All the onions are pulled. All the onions from the garden this year.
My first harvest of onions has been drying and curing for about 2 weeks. Here's one that's not quite ready. Top's still green. Roots are dried out. And here's an onion from the first harvest that's ready for storage. This top is pretty much completely dried out and crispy. The roots are all crispy and the skin's dried up. Some of that skin falls off, it's okay, but try to leave on as much as you can. The roots you can just twist off.
Cut the stem about 2 inches long.
There we go. Not ready, not ready. That one's about ready. That one's ready.
Long stems prevent rot from entering the onion and seal in all that goodness. Look for the leaves to be completely dried out and crunchy.
These onions are cured. They're dried out. Let's take them home to my basement and I'll show you how I store them. Home sweet home. Let's get these onions downstairs for long-term storage.
I store these onions in buckets with lots of holes drilled in them for ventilation. There's a gunny sack inside the bucket. Airflow and cool temperatures are important for long-term storage. This is a little pantry I built under the stairwell in the basement. It stays nice and cool and dark. I store my potatoes and my garlic the same way.
Hope to see you next time at the Windmill Garden.